Stand by.
3, 2, 1.
The following program comes from executive producer Lillian Garcia. Every athlete is on this quest. Every performer dives in head first, battling real-life challenges and overcoming obstacles in an effort to make their dreams reality. Singer, speaker, and 15-year WWE host Lillian Garcia was the first woman to ever announce WrestleMania and is now the PFL MMA cage announcer. And now she's giving you an all-access pass to the human interest stories of elite athletes, extraordinary entertainers, and wellness experts. Now, let's embark on another fascinating journey of chasing glory with your host, Lillian Garcia.
Welcome, everybody. Yes, it is Chasing Glory, but no, I am not in Hollywood, California. If you're watching on YouTube, which is youtube.com/Lillian Garcia, you are seeing that I'm in Orlando. It is the NXT Performance Center. I am so excited to be here because we are kicking off. The NXT brand is now going to be on the USA Network every Wednesday night. Congratulations to NXT and everybody here that has been working so hard to make this happen. It is so exciting, and what's so great and thrilling is the fact that I'm bringing you these amazing stories for the next few weeks and some bonus episodes with some of your favorite NXT superstars. So yeah, right here is the Performance Center where it all takes place. Blood, sweat, and tears in this ring to make it into the WWE. And it hasn't just developed into just going into Raw and SmackDown. No, it is their own brand. So catch it every Wednesday night. It is on the USA Network, as I said, and make sure you follow the show at Chasing Glory Podcast. We'll let you know week by week who is the next guest. It's so exciting and so thrilling. You're going to be getting incredible stories as the chase for glory is quite the journey. Make sure you follow me at Lillian Garcia on Instagram and Twitter, and Lillian Garcia official fan page on Facebook. Keep those reviews coming. Make sure that you keep that 5-star rating. Want to thank you guys so much for that. And subscribe to the show on Chasing Glory and also on YouTube now. Remember, that's youtube.com/Lillian Garcia. Okay, so today we're starting everything off with the one and the only Johnny Gargano. Incredible guy. If you guys just saw what he did at TakeOver in Toronto, blew my mind, but again, every match he does blows my mind. And you know that Adam Cole was my guest a few weeks ago. You can go back and listen to that one. And now you can get the perspective from Johnny about their match and so much more. So many things that are revealed here that actually Johnny said he's never talked about. So here it is. It's the one and only Johnny Gargano. So without further ado, here is Johnny Gargano's story and journey of Chasing Glory.
Calling Cleveland, Ohio home, Johnny Gargano embraces everything the city has to offer. From loving the Cleveland Browns to getting his start in pro wrestling at the Cleveland All-Pro Training Center, Johnny knew he wanted to channel his heroes on TV. He would dress up as a Power Ranger, a Ninja Turtle, and even as Batman, but it was another love that seemed like a more natural career choice. He would be no stranger to the wrestling ring, as his father, who owned a catering company, would allow the local wrestling promotion to have shows behind the business. As an 8-year-old, Johnny would roll around the ring getting a feel for what his future would entail, and at the age of 16, he would officially enroll in wrestling school, where his journey would begin. He would wrestle locally, but it wasn't too long before he would begin traveling all over the country, applying his unique hybrid style, which combined the British, lucha, and Japanese style of pro wrestling. Within a few years, he would work for every top independent wrestling company in the country, such as Ring of Honor, Evolve, PWG, and Shakara. He even appeared on an episode of SmackDown in 2007, losing to MVP. Johnny's career hasn't been without a few setbacks. After a Ring of Honor tryout, he discovered he had a hairline fracture in his back, which led to doctors advising him to retire. But Gargano would return to the ring just 6 months later. He would also receive numerous WWE tryouts, which would result in constant no's, including one which was just months before debuting in NXT. The company would bring him in to be a part of the inaugural Dusty Rhodes Classic, teaming with Tommaso Ciampa. Even though the duo would be eliminated in the quarterfinals, the team impressed WWE officials and would be asked back numerous times, even without an official WWE contract. Their appearances would increase, and they would even face each other in the first round of the first ever Cruiserweight Classic. Gargano would be victorious before losing to the eventual winner, TJ Perkins. After months of standout performances, he would finally receive a full-time NXT contract, which was followed by 2 of the best tag team matches NXT has ever had against The Revival. The fans agreed with the assessment and named it NXT Match of the Year, which also included Gargano and Ciampa winning the tag team titles. After an intense breakup, Gargano would achieve single success, winning the NXT North American title, and at NXT TakeOver New York, in an epic 2 out of 3 falls match, he defeated Adam Cole to become the NXT champion, thus earning him the distinct honor of the first ever NXT Triple Crown champion. If all of these achievements aren't enough, because of wrestling, Johnny also found the love of his life, NXT superstar Candice LeRae, and made her his wife. With the recent debut of NXT airing live on the USA Network, there is no doubt that Johnny Gargano's star is still yet to shine its brightest. Get fired up, cause it's about to get real, raw, and inspiring with Johnny Gargano.
Oh man, I'm in your presence.
Yep.
I love it.
Yep, ready to rock and roll.
Johnny, welcome to Chasing Glory. It's great to have you on.
No, thanks for having me.
You know, I did the interview with Adam Cole, and I watched that match that you and Adam Cole had. Tremendous match.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. TakeOver Toronto. I was there in Toronto, so I was really taking it in, and God, man.
Yeah.
You just put everything on the line.
Nuts, right? Yeah.
I just remember after that, I said, I got to get both of their stories.
Yeah.
Johnny and Adam, and I got Adams, and I told.
So you did Adams. He was reeling from the other right, like early in the morning, day after.
I mean, when he came to the door, I literally go, "How the hell are you walking?"
Yeah. See, the thing is, I woke up the next day and I had an Access signing, and I went to Access, and so many people were like, "How are you standing?" Because it was like 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
And for me, for some strange reason, I felt okay. Like I think I just prepared myself to feel super horrible and not be able to walk.
Yeah.
So the fact that I was able to walk felt like a small victory to me. So I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I got out of bed. I'm okay. I'm walking. Wow. Okay. I'm good. I'm good. I hurt, but I was like, okay, I'm pretty good. I've been a lot more sore on other matches. I think
Really?
our 2 out of 3 falls match at TakeOver New York, I was way more sore the next day than I was after the 2 out of 3 falls falling 20 feet off the top of the cage match. But yeah.
I don't even know how that's possible because what you guys did was incredible. Did you feel good afterwards?
I never feel good afterwards.
Dadgummit, I knew it.
He might have said the same thing, but I never feel good afterwards. I'm very on record of saying I hate all my own matches. I don't.
Unbelievable.
I hate watching them. I watch them. Maybe like if I feel good about it, I'll watch it. I'll watch like GIFs on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, okay, that looked pretty good. That looked pretty good. But watching the full match, maybe I'll watch it once. And it kind of sucks too, because like here at the Performance Center, we watch it with Shawn Michaels, who was my childhood inspiration.
Yeah.
So we kind of got to watch it with him.
That's gotta be wild.
It
It's
is very
surreal.
wild, very surreal. It's a dream come true, literally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hate watching my own matches. I hate all my own matches. I just don't know if that's just a like, I don't know, if that's just something with me or that's something with like everyone. I know like a lot of people that strive to be really, really good and are kind of perfectionists, kind of hate their own work.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, like as long as other people enjoy it,
Yeah.
like as long as I come to the back and Shawn Michaels and Triple H and the fans are going nuts and they enjoy it, I'm like, okay, cool. Like kind of like wash my hands of that.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Did you
They're
get
happy.
good? I'm sure you got good responses from
Yeah,
them.
they were very happy. They're very excited. They're always very excited every takeover. They're like proud parents, I guess.
Yeah.
Watching their kids go out there and fall 20 feet off the top of a cage.
Because they don't want to do it anymore.
No, yeah, they're done. They're done. Like, whoa, wow.
Been there, done that.
Yeah,
Now
okay, they're
somebody else
good.
do it.
They're
Yeah.
good. But yeah, they're very proud, and it's always a different feeling every takeover. Like they're always just super pumped. I always feel kind of weird because I'm always very low key, like very low keel, very calm, cool, and collected. Like whether I'm getting ready to go out or I'm
Really?
coming back after, just always just
Wow.
I'm very even. I think that's just because like I know this is where I've always wanted to be, and that's kind of the position I've always wanted to be in. I've always wanted to be in those main event spots and have that pressure to where I just don't let it affect me.
But if you,
I get excited, but I'm not like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? I'm just like, okay, well, like I'm gonna go out there and do my best. And
see, I would think it would be the opposite. Like you work so hard to be at something, you gotta, that when you get the opportunity, oh my god, I better be good. I better be good. I better be good. That you would create so much anxiety.
See, I'm like that on the inside, but like I don't feel it anymore. I think I've been like, that was like my 15th takeover main event. So like I've kind of been put in that spot because I'm so calm, cool, and collected. Like I can handle the pressure, I guess.
Yeah.
I want the pressure. I want that spotlight. But I never feel like, I always feel weird because everyone else is like so amped up. They're like, yeah, come on, we're gonna go. And I'm just like waiting for my music to play. Like, okay, here we go. And I come in the back. I'm like, was that fine? Was that okay? And they're like, oh, it was so good, so good. That was great. And I'm like, okay, good, okay, cool.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
But have you always been that way your whole life?
So. I think so. I don't know.
Like think about you as a kid.
Yeah, like you can ask Candace this too. Like I don't get like too excited or too like overwhelmed, I guess. Like I kind of hide things very well. I don't know if that's just because who I am. I don't know. I was a chubby kid growing up, so like I just don't show my emotions very much. I don't know if it's because of my dad. My dad doesn't show his emotions a lot. So I think just maybe for me, like I just kind of saw it like, oh, he isn't showing emotions. Maybe I won't show emotions. So like, I'm just very kind of emotionless.
Yeah.
Unless I'm out in the ring. If I'm out in the ring, like I can open up, and I think maybe that's what made me love wrestling so much. So I can go out there and I can be a different person. I can show fire, show emotion. I can do all this sort of thing. Then when I'm coming in the back, I'm kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, that just...
It's one. Did you know that when I had Seth Rollins on here, I had Batista and Stone Cold. All three of them said how introverted they were growing up.
Oh yeah,
just
100%.
Even outside, but yet how wrestling helped them be able to come out of their shell and they're just come out and just be a completely different person.
100%. For me, like I was a super shy kid. Like I said, I was a chubby kid. I think that's very well known at this point. I was a chubby kid growing up, and I got picked on, and I never felt like I belonged anywhere. And that's just I played with my wrestling action figures, and I was just a lot by myself. And I had like one best friend who was like, he was mentally handicapped, and he lived next door to me, and like he was my best friend. He's the one who actually got me into wrestling. He showed me, I was really big into like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers, and I didn't want to cheat on them, so I was like, this is the stuff I like Power Rangers, I like Ninja Turtles. And my friend was like, hey, you should watch this wrestling thing. And I was like, I don't know, I really like Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles, I don't want to kind of go in that direction. But I watched it, and I was just blown away, and I was like, oh, like I immediately fell in love with it. And I reference that all the time. I reference him all the time. His name was Eddie. And I tell everyone all the time. I told Candace this all the time. I'm like, man, if it wasn't for Eddie, you think about life, if it wasn't for Eddie showing me professional wrestling, like I would never have gotten into wrestling. We would have never met. Our whole lives would have been so different. It's just crazy how life works out to where like that one little moment in time where he's like, check out this wrestling thing. Yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. Changed the whole trajectory of my life and of countless other people's life too. It's crazy how that works.
Well, that's the thing that sometimes people feel so insignificant.
Yeah.
They feel like they're not making a difference because they feel like they have to do this grandiose thing when all of a sudden Eddie is just being super nice to you, showing you something, and through him just being himself and being passionate and sharing it with one person, how he has changed. Because I'm telling you, Johnny, there are fans out there that are looking at what you do and they go, I want to be like Johnny.
Yeah, that's nuts to me. That's nuts to me. Like for me, like I always bring up like TakeOver New York, and that was like my big moment where I won the NXT Championship.
Yeah.
And I had so many little details there to where like I wore Iron Man gear, but I also had the kind of fabric that Shawn Michaels had at WrestleMania 12 for his Iron Man match, because like that match to me was the definition of what made me want to become a professional wrestler. Yeah. That boyhood dream moment of like he finally did it, he finally accomplished his dream.
Yeah.
And now people to me are saying like, man, when Johnny Gargano won the NXT Championship at TakeOver New York, that was my boyhood dream moment. Right. So I'm like, that's mind-blowing to me. The little kids nowadays are watching me and being like, I want to be a professional wrestler because of Johnny Gargano. Mm-hmm. But that's crazy because I'm still that same kid that they are. Yeah. That's why I think I can be so relatable, and I can be so. I see fans waiting by guardrails, or I see like them waiting in lobbies. Like I will always, and me and Candace say this all the time. If you see us out in public, please come up to us. I hate when people tweet me after the fact, and they're like, "Oh, we saw Johnny Gargano, we saw Candace. We didn't want to bother them though."
I know,
Like,
me
no,
too.
please. Like, I hate that. Like,
Yeah.
just come up and say hi, because I remember what it was like. I was that little kid who waited by the guardrails. I waited in lobbies. I was a fan.
Yeah.
So I know what it feels like to be a fan. So I try to do the things that, like, I kind of put myself in their shoes, where like, if this happened, this would change my life. This would blow my mind.
Yeah.
So I always try and think in that aspect. I try to put myself in those shoes again, to where I'm like, what can I do that's going to make this person's day better? What can I do to make this little kid smile? What can I do to make this grown man smile?
Yeah, right, right.
So yeah, we kind of have that mindset when we do things.
What about if a fan is waiting for you and you've driven 300 miles and
Yep.
they're waiting at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning at the hotel? Because I've talked about this
Uh-huh.
with other wrestlers who are like, there should be some kind of boundary.
Yes.
Do you feel like there should be some kind of boundary?
Like, it depends on how the person approaches it. For me, it's all different instances. Like, I get where it's annoying, and I get where it's annoying where you say you get to an airport and it's 6 in the morning, and people have, like, eBayers have like 10 cards for you to sign.
Yeah.
And I get that's annoying, but honestly, for me, it takes me 10 seconds to sign 10 autographs. That's very quick. If I can do that and it's going to help this person out, I don't know what they're going through. Like, if they need to sell those cards to make money to put food on their table, if it takes me 10 seconds, like, I can help out, cool. Like, it's literally 10 seconds out of my life. Like, I understand, like, some people don't want that, you know, don't want people to come up to them at 6 in the morning, or like they've had a rough time or things like that. And like, I get they're going to sell it, and it's not for personal reasons.
Yeah.
But if I can help this person eat, I guess, like,
Yeah.
it takes me 10 seconds. Like, it's
Right.
not a big deal to me.
Another perspective. I love it. I love it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a special on you, and Eddie was in it.
Mm-hmm.
It was so touching. Your relationship with your parents,
Yeah.
your whole family. How excited like everybody is that you're doing this.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
But so you've been lucky where your dad had a catering company, and you had this. They had this ring in the back of the
Yeah.
business, right? And
Yeah.
you were rolling around at 8 years old.
Yeah.
Do you remember a time? Because that's how you got introduced, obviously.
Yep.
So do you remember a time without it? Do you remember what life was like, and then at eight being introduced to this thing?
See, I don't. It's so weird now. It's been so long. I'm 32 now. I don't remember a time before wrestling. It just feels like this is what I've always done.
Yeah.
It's who I've always been. And I'm sure there's a big, long discussion of who I am outside of wrestling, that
Yeah.
maybe because I've done this so long, that's my identity. Like, I am a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
And I've just, like, since 8 years old, that's all I've ever wanted to do. So if you take me outside of wrestling, I don't really know who I am as a human, maybe. And that's a deep like thing we can go into. Like, who knows? But yeah, I don't remember a time before wrestling. I just remember this was all I ever wanted to do, and I always remember being told that it wasn't going to happen.
Who told you that?
Countless people. I remember being, because I was a chubby kid all throughout high school. I remember being in high school and having like a hoodie with WWE on it, and telling people I'm going to be a professional wrestler, and like them be like, "You're the chubby kid, like you're not going to be a wrestler." And like, I used to go to bed at night, get on my hands and knees and pray. Like, I used to pray like, "Please make me 6 foot tall so I can be a wrestler." Please make me 6 foot tall. And obviously my prayers were not answered. They were not answered. But I'm working with what I got. But yeah, like,
Which is enough.
it is. I hope. I don't know.
It is.
I don't
It's
know.
making an impact.
I hope. But yeah, like, so many people in high school told me I'd never be a wrestler. After my first match, the first match in in the back of my dad's catering company, Buff Bagwell was on the show.
Oh God.
Yes, Buff was on the show, and my dad asked him, like, "Look at my kid. Like, I was 17 at the time. It was my first match. He's like, look at my kid. Is he gonna make it?" And Buff was like, "No, he's not gonna make it."
Wow. Have you seen Buff since?
I have not. But like, I mean,
Would you be like Buff?
yeah, I'm like,
Check
Buff,
it out,
Buff
here I
Bagwell,
am.
I'm
Yeah.
the stuff now, Buff.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't seen him since. But again, like, you gotta, at that time, I was like, okay, but whatever. You gotta think in his shoes. Like, I'm a 17-year-old kid. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why you would tell someone's dad that their kid's not gonna make it.
Right, right.
But
How did that fuel you? Because some people would hear that
Mm-hmm.
countless times and
Yeah.
go, okay, I guess I'm not cut out for this and I'll go choose something else.
Yeah.
What made you go, no, I am?
I've always had a chip on my shoulder. I've always had that kind of underdog mentality. to where if you tell me I'm not going to do something, I'm going to go work even harder to make sure it happens because I want to prove you wrong.
Well, you and Candace is the same.
I know.
Wow,
that's why we got married
for each other. Yeah, I love it.
We're also,
Where did that come from?
I don't know. It's just something I've always had in me. Just because like I said, I've been doubted my whole life. You know, whether it be like Little League or like any sort of sport or anything in general. Like, and your whole life you hear something. Your whole life you hear you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. You're not big enough. You're not tall enough. I'm just like, you know what? Like, I'm meant to do this. I believe in my heart that I'm supposed to be there. I'm supposed to be there. I'm supposed to be maybe one of the best of all time. Like, I'm going to work an endless amount to make sure that happens. And it was just something that's been instilled with me since day one. I was just born with it. I don't think it's something you can teach. Like you said, some people get told something like, okay, well, I'll stop. Yeah. I get told I can't do something. I'm like, I'm going to go do it even more.
But did your dad, because I know he loved wrestling,
yeah.
Obviously.
No, he didn't.
Oh, he didn't?
My dad did not love wrestling.
Well, why did he allow
Because he knew I loved wrestling. So that's the thing. My dad, like,
Oh.
he was even at the start, my dad was very much so like, hey, like, maybe, like, you shouldn't, because the option was for me to go to college. Like, he's like, you want to go to college? And I was like, I don't want to go to college. I want to be a professional wrestler. And a lot of people were like, oh, I don't know if that's the best idea. Because obviously you look at me, and I'm not the biggest guy, and I'm not over 200 pounds. Absolutely.
Hogan,
you see
Ric
things,
Flair,
especially during
Triple
that
H,
era. Yeah, guys were huge. They were
Attitude
giants. Absolutely.
Stone Cold Steve Austin,
Yes,
The
so
Rock.
they're huge. They're all huge.
Yeah.
And you look at me, and I'm not. So it's like, maybe this kid ain't going to make it. But no, he was not a huge wrestling fan. Like, even so much so that he always wanted me to take over his catering company. That was always, like, he's like, oh, my son will take over my catering company. And, like, that's a good, like, career for him because obviously he's not going to whatever. And then the wrestling thing came in, and I was like, I want to be a wrestler, and I don't want to work this catering company. And it was a big, long thing, too, because when I first started wrestling, I worked at my dad's catering company. That was my first job. So I would show up 8 in the morning, work at my dad's catering company for, like, less than $5 an hour. Yeah. Because he's my dad. And I'd, like, do that Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., like a normal job. And then on the weekends I'd go and I'd wrestle. But it got to the point where I do that for so many years. It got to the point where I was around like early 20s where I was getting so many bookings to where like it was overseas bookings where I'd be gone for weeks and weeks at a time.
Oh, wow.
Where I kind of had to be like, Dad, I can't come to work anymore. And
Yeah.
he like that kind of that almost strained me and my dad's relationship for a minute to where he was kind of like this is my job, this is the catering company, you need to work here. And I'm kind of like, I'm doing really well on wrestling right now. Like, I kind of want to go out and do that. And we didn't talk for a little bit, like maybe like a couple months. And it ended up like where I wrote him a letter, like, look, Dad, like, I love you. Like, I love this business. I grew up here. But like, this is my dream and I need to try. I know you're worried. And that, as a father, like, you want your son to be safe.
Right.
You want to do the safe bet. Like, he's got a catering company. He's like, I'm going to give my son a job for his whole life. Yeah. But for me, I'm like, I love that catering company, but I also love something a little bit more. And I feel like I'm pretty good at it. And it's always been my lifelong dream. I got to at least try. Yeah. And then luckily enough, like years go by. And here we are now where I'm in WWE and I'm pretty successful. And now, like my dad, like it took a while, but my dad's 77 years old. Yeah. So
does he get it now? Does he say you made the right decision?
He does get it. He 100% gets it. So much so that just recently, and I haven't divulged this anywhere, like, so this is the first time anyone's going to hear this, my dad actually sold his catering company. Oh. Yeah, which is like we just this past recent had like a retirement party for him. He's 77 years old. Like, he doesn't know what he's going to do now with his whole life because his whole identity was that catering company, kind of like mine is professional wrestling. Yeah. So he's kind of dealing with something like, now what do? I'm 77 years old. I'm retiring. I don't know what I'm going to do now. But like I said, like he's moving on from that building, and that building he's had for over 40 years. Wow. A building where I grew up in. So
how'd
now
that make you feel?
So now for me, I'm kind of like, I was just there in Cleveland this past weekend. And it's kind of a little, it's just, I'm not fully accepting anything yet because I was there and I'm like, okay, that's where I probably learned to walk. That in the back parking lot is where I had my first match. And now, like, every day fans are coming in because we kind of showed the catering company so much on NXT TV. Yeah. Fans are coming in now and talking to my parents every day and being like, is Johnny here? Like, we want to meet Johnny. Right. And my mom who works there takes a picture of every fan that walks in. So I get texted every day a picture of just a stranger. A picture of a stranger every day. I get a text message on my phone. Like, look who stopped in today. They're from New York, or they're from California. They're from Buffalo. People are traveling in to like see my dad's catering company now. But like, yeah, for me, like like that's that I spent my whole life there. Like I just this past weekend, like my little nephew, who is all about wrestling now because he came to take over Philadelphia. He loves wrestling. His name's Madden. He got this wrestling ring, and I went and I got my wrestling action figures from like the basement, which were all like messed up with limbs falling off. Like I got like Triple H, and I got like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm like, these are Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H. You're playing when we like played together.
Wow.
So it was really like a full circle moment of like, this is what I used to do when I was little. And now I have my little nephew here. I'm playing with him. But yeah, so many like different thoughts and emotions go through my head because like that place isn't going to be in my life anymore. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I haven't fully accepted it yet, but yeah, we'll see.
Why didn't he want to get rid of it?
Just like he's 77 years old, and like his wife, who is my stepmom, they want to like retire. And like my dad has never been to Orlando, Florida. He's like I said, he's 77, so he doesn't travel. He doesn't do anything like that.
Okay.
Just because he's always had that excuse of like, I got to work. You know, I got to run the catering company. He shows up every day at 6 in the morning.
This is gonna be tough for him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. We're like, what's he gonna do now?
Transition is
He
not
feels
easy.
like he might we feel like he's gonna sell the building and then like buy another smaller building to like just keep running stuff because he needs something to do.
Yeah.
We tell him all the time now. Now you can come to Orlando. You can spend time with us. But that's always been his excuse to get out of things. Is like I gotta work 6 a.m. till 5 p.m. I gotta work, and now he's got no work to do. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see. Well, maybe he's just scared to travel.
100%. I like he flew in for Takeover New York, so like he was there for the big match and things like that. So he doesn't travel very much. He used to be in the Marine Corps. He used to like he traveled. He's like, I traveled the world when I was young. I don't want to do that anymore. But I'm like, Dad, like I just come to Orlando and see my house here.
Yeah,
like come on. But yeah.
Did he travel to the wedding to California?
Yes, he traveled to California. Yes,
Okay.
he traveled to the wedding in California. It's been very sparing amounts of travel he's done recently.
Got
Like
it.
he goes to like Punta Cana for like vacation, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So that's like the one vacation he takes like
Okay.
a year, and then
Okay.
he just stays in Cleveland forever. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. So we'll see what happens
Yeah,
with the
who knows?
transition. You said it though. You've created your identity around this so much.
Yeah.
That does it ever scare you, like to think of the future of what you're going to do when you transition? Because you can't wrestle forever.
Yeah, I mean it's exciting though because I do have interests outside of wrestling, and
Tell
I love Disney stuff. I love Marvel stuff. I'm a big sports fan, so I do have interests and like goals and dreams outside of wrestling. Like I'd love to get into acting eventually.
Yeah?
Like I would love to do that eventually. That's always been a passion of mine. I took acting classes when I was in like high school and stuff like that, and I've always been fond of the entertainment aspect of wrestling as well. But like you said, like my identity very much so is wrestling. Like that
Yeah.
Johnny Wrestling moniker is very much so wrestling just who I am. So it's
Yeah.
in my name because that's definitely who I am. But like there are like me and Candace, we go to Disney all the time. We do Marvel stuff all the time. We go to stuff with sports all the time. So like I do have other likes and other interests that are growing now outside of wrestling. But wrestling will always be number one for me.
Yeah.
It'll always be my end all be all. And luckily, it feels like in this day and age, in this climate, I will have a job with WWE forever if
Yeah.
I want it.
Yeah,
Like if I
'cause you
want it,
could
there's
be
stuff in the
an
Performance
agent.
Center. I could be a producer. I could be a coach at the Performance Center. Like there's tons of offers, tons of things that like, look, if you want to transition to something else, like it's always on the table. So much so that I start doing things here. Like I've already produced shows here, like
Really?
on the local live events. I'm a producer at some shows.
Wow.
I produce shows at the Performance Center. So like I try to dip my hand in everything here,
Yeah.
just because I want to learn everything. Because
Yeah.
you never know what's going to come in handy.
Right.
And there's just so many different jobs and different things you can do here. So
Is that also instilled in a way because you had a scare as far as when you were at Ring of Honor where you tried
Evolve.
out? Oh, Evolve?
yes, so I did do a tryout at Evolve. I did do a tryout at Ring of Honor, but I think
but
you're
isn't that
referencing the back injury, right?
Yeah, well, they said that they found a hairline fracture.
Yes.
At least that's what research says.
Yes.
You tell me if this is off, but that during your tryout, the doctors found a hairline fracture in your back, and then they told you that you should retire from wrestling.
So I did do a Ring of Honor tryout a little bit before that, but so I had my Ring of Honor tryout. Then a couple weeks later, I had a hairline fracture in my lower back. So like I couldn't follow up at all with Ring of Honor or anything like that.
Did the doctor
Yes,
tell
the
you?
doctor did tell me that I should not wrestle anymore.
Wow.
And I was probably, I can't think of the time period of this time, but I was super young. So my career was just very recently starting out.
Can you remember that moment and what you were feeling?
I didn't believe him. Like I was just like, I don't know about that. Like someone tells you your career might be over. Like, obviously, I was like, oh, well, that doesn't seem. I was like, I'm gonna fix that. That ain't right.
And how did you fix it? Because 6 months later, right?
Yes.
You were wrestling.
So like, I went to a different doctor, and he did see the hairline fracture, but he also said that like maybe there's a leg length discrepancy. Like, so like I wear a lift in my left shoe, and I have since that day. They felt like my pelvis was tipping. So that was causing like my spine to kind of turn a little bit. So like the lift kind of corrected that. And like 6 months later, it's just crazy how life works out. Like we talked about, every one little moment can change everything.
Yeah.
So like I had my Ring of Honor tryout, and they like everything went great. Like Gabe Sapolsky was still with Ring of Honor at the time. In the time period where I hurt my back in the 6 months I was gone, Gabe Sapolsky got fired from Ring of Honor. In that time period, like TNA reached out to me and they wanted to bring me in for a tryout, and so that gave me something to work towards.
Yeah.
That gave me like motivation, like okay, like I'm gonna work really hard and try to get signed by TNA. So I worked really hard. I rehabbed. I got in the best shape of my life, and when I came back, I contacted TNA and they brought me in for a tryout. Like I worked like Jay Leaf and I worked like Eric Young. This is back when they were still in Orlando.
Yeah.
And I did that. And I remember before that tryout, Gabe Sapolsky reached out to me and he said, like, hey, I'm starting up this new company called Dragon Gate USA. Has anyone contacted you about any tryouts or anything like that? I'm going to do TNA actually this weekend. He's like, well, if that doesn't work out, like, come work for me. We'll do some cool stuff. If it does, congratulations, you deserve it. Like, work really hard.
That's awesome.
So, like, the TNA thing, like, I never heard anything back, so I went and I worked with Gabe. And it's just funny how that worked out to where, like, working with Gabe turned into, like, working with Gabe for, like, 5 years.
Yeah.
And it let me travel the world, let me find who I was as a professional wrestler, let me go to Japan, let me go all over the place. And it really let me hone my craft and develop as this, like, sort of main event level talent to where I was main eventing a lot of shows. So I kind of, like I grew into that role.
Yeah.
And then from there, like, obviously the WWE stuff happened. So it's just, like, it's so weird. Like, if I wouldn't hurt my back, who knows, I might have signed with Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
And my whole career trajectory might have been different. Like, it's just one little thing.
But isn't it great, too, that you found out, I mean, all these years, right? And you
Yeah.
don't even know that your left leg is
Yep,
shorter
absolutely.
than your right.
Yeah. They said, like, it's very common. But for, like, athletes that obviously do the sort of things that I do, it obviously is way worse because you're kind of jumping and running and doing like that. Like, there might be, like, a little inch on everybody.
Yeah, I was just going to
Certain
say,
people
there's
have-
certain things
yes.
that I can tell that are
Yes.
different in mine.
Yeah.
They say not everything is even.
Yeah.
But finding that out,
Yep.
what just wearing a lift,
Yep.
what
Fixed
a
it.
difference. Unreal. And then you try. Now, I know that you also tried out for WWE numerous times with numerous no's.
Yes. So, like, it's so funny to where, like, I was an extra almost every time they came to Cleveland. My first extra role, I was, I think, 19, 20 years old, and I was Cedric Von Hausen. You can find that clip. I was on SmackDown vs. MVP.
That's crazy. So I'm sure I was there.
You were probably there, yes, 100%.
That's crazy.
You were definitely there. You probably introduced Cedric Von Hausen,
Probably,
maybe. Yeah.
Well, now that you say that name, I'm like, wait, I think I remember
Yeah,
that name. That's crazy.
So I did that special one. And it is, that first time being there was so crazy too, because I told this story on Table for Three, but I'll reiterate it. Like, I got a call at like 5 p.m. and I was training people at the time at the training center in Cleveland, and I wake up. I fell asleep because SmackDown was in Cleveland that day, so everyone went to SmackDown, and like no one showed up for training.
Yeah.
So I was just there by myself. So I fell asleep in the ring, and I wake up to my mom running down the steps.
Okay.
Because obviously my phone was on vibrate, so I couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
And she's like, Johnny, like they called the house. You're gonna be on SmackDown. So like WWE contacted my trainer, who tried to contact me, but I was sleeping. So he called my mom. My mom ran down to the training center to like wake me up. So it's like 5 p.m. and I'm freaking out. I'm like, what? Like, this is my first contact with WWE. First contact with WWE. It's 5 p.m. SmackDown was going live on the air in like 3 hours.
Yeah.
So like we rush home. I grab my gear bag. I get to the Gund Arena at the time, and like I don't know where to go. Like I've never done this before.
Right.
So I go in like the front door with all the fans, and I'm like, I'm here to wrestle, I think. I don't know. And they're like, oh, I guess come on.
Yeah.
So I go and I meet my producer. I think it might have been, I'm trying to think who it was at the time. It might have been Arn Anderson or someone. I get my producer, and they introduce me to MVP, and we talk a little bit, and they're like, okay, now we're going to take you to wardrobe. I'm like, wardrobe? That's weird, because I got my own gear. Like, I don't need anything. And they're like, they take me to wardrobe, and they're like, here's your gear, and it's an elf costume. And I'm like, okay.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like this Keebler elf looking Cedric Von Hausen. You're the champion of Liechtenstein. Like, that's what's going on. Your name's Cedric Von Hausen. You need you to wear this. I'm like, okay, cool. So I didn't go in the locker room either, so I changed like in makeup. So like all the girls are like looking at me like, what the heck is this guy doing? Just changing. So I'm like getting in like my elf costume and makeup. And they're like, okay, you look good. Now we got to take you to go see Vince. And I'm like, oh,
The man.
oh, okay. So we walk into Vince. They knock on the door. They open it, and it was like a movie. I swear to God.
Not daunting at all.
Vince is it's like in a villain chair where like his back is turned. And I just walk in, I'm just standing there in an elf costume, and all of a sudden, like, the chair turns, and he has, like, a newspaper up, and he, like, slowly lowers it, and there he is. He looks at me, he's like, you look good, kid, he looks great. Thank you for doing this. And I'm like, thank you, sir. And I, like, leave. And then I, like, the show obviously starts, and I remember, like, Zanny. I distinctly, for some reason, this is the most distinct memory of this whole thing. Like, Stone Cold Steve Austin had a movie that just came. I think The Condemned just came out.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So like there was a trailer playing right before my match.
Okay.
So I was just standing in Gorilla watching the Condemned trailer with Stephanie McMahon right there and Vince right there. I'm like, this is so weird. I'm 19, 20 at the time. I'm like, this is freaking weird. And then like, so I go out and do my thing. I get a bloody nose and everything because like he kicked me really hard. Come to the back and like Vince and Stephanie are like, good job, kid, you did great. So I'm like, I did great. Like that was awesome. So like that was my first time as an extra WWE.
Yeah.
Another undisclosed time, which I haven't told this story, I think, ever. So this was late, like many years later. I was probably like 24, 25, I don't know. Me and M-Dog 20 Matt Cross, we had a travel, like we did like the Cleveland one, then we did like Columbus or some kind of other show. And William Regal kind of knew who we were. Because like he knows like indie wrestling and things like that, so he knew me and Matt were like, I guess, pretty good.
Yeah.
So like they used to do like rehearsal matches before the shows, obviously.
Yeah.
And me and Matt kind of thought like, hey, let's just talk about a match before we get to this building, just in case we get paired together. We can just have this crazy match, just ready to go.
Okay.
So we get there, and Regal's like, sees us, and he's like, Johnny and Matt, go ahead and put on a match. Because he kind of knew, like, these guys have worked together before. They might have something cool.
Yeah.
So we had this match, and, like people are going nuts. They're like, oh, this is crazy. This is nuts. And, like, we do this great match, and, like, people are, like, losing their minds. Because we're doing all our stuff. Like, I'm doing my trademark stuff. He's doing his trademark stuff. He's doing, like, flips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, like, I've been around long enough where I've seen all these, like, tryout matches where it's very, like, headlock and, like, very basic. They want to show they can work, but we're just going bonkers. We're like, screw it. Like, what's the worst that could happen?
Right.
So we do all this stuff. And then I remember, like we were getting ready to go do a promo because Regal was trying very hard to get us signed. That's going to be a loop for my whole career. Is Regal's trying very hard to get us signed because he knows like these guys are great talent, like, they could work.
Yeah.
And he saw something in us. So I remember standing there waiting to do our promo, like backstage, and all of a sudden I just feel like a hand come up and smack me in the back, and it was John Cena.
Oh.
And he was like, hey, like, I saw you guys match. You guys did great. Like, keep it up. Like, that was awesome. And we're like, oh, that was so nice of him. He definitely didn't have to do that.
Right.
So, like, as the night went on, like, we did this promo, and we saw John after, like, the dark match. We're like, let's go up and, like, thank him for, like, saying stuff to us. So we go up and thank him. He's like, hey, guys, I just want to tell you, like, I don't have any power around here, but you guys should definitely be signed. And I was like, whoa. Like, John Cena, like, the top guy at the time is telling, like, me and Matt, like, we should be signed. We're like, that's crazy. Like, so, like, we do that, and the next day we do, like, a SmackDown show, and we get to the building, and Regal, like, he's obviously trying very hard. He's like, there might be a cruiserweight thing. There might be something in the future. I'm just trying really hard to get you guys seen.
Yeah.
He went and he grabbed the Usos from backstage.
Yeah.
He's like, Johnny and Matt, can you be a tag team? And we're like, sure. So we had this on-the-fly match with the Usos. And after the match with the Usos come to us like, guys, man, that was great. Like, they need to call you guys up from developmental. We're like, we're not even signed, man.
We're not even there, buddy.
They're like, what? Like, we're just random guys here, man.
Wow.
So yeah, that was like. So then we did like this promo. Like me and Matt did this tag team promo in front of everyone, and it like went great. And afterwards, Matt's like, dude, we're gonna get signed. Because we're feeling like, wow, we're acing every test they're giving us here. Then like we don't hear anything. I just like the story of like this happened and this happened and this happened and just nothing happened. And then like I had my actual tryout.
Yeah. How long after that?
So I think this was 2015. So like that was probably like 3 years later.
Wow.
Yeah,
so how
forever.
the heck do you keep your not only just love for it, but your like determination? Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Like,
yes, I am.
I just always believed in my heart I would end up here. I believe, and I was told, like, Gabe Sapolsky gave me really great advice that he kind of told, like Bryan Danielson and CM Punk and guys like that, like because they were always the top dog on the indies. It's kind of like being on the indies is kind of like being a doctor. Like you can't just start operating on people and be successful at it. You kind of need to go to school, you need to learn, you need to practice. That's what the indies is. And I wanted to do everything I possibly could on the indies, and I wanted to feel in my heart like, okay, I've done everything I can now. I'm ready to go be a star there. And I feel like that kind of worked out for me to where I did everything I could on the indies.
So by not getting signed,
it helped me.
3 years.
Yes, it helped me so much.
What a great
If I would have
story.
got signed at 20, if I would have got signed at 25, I don't think I'd still be here. I don't think I would have that success. Like being told no made me work harder. Being told no made me want it more. And then when we actually had our tryout in 2015, obviously, because Regal would come to PWG and he'd see all of us.
Yeah.
So like it became this thing where he'd bring in these indie guys for this tryout. And the NXT as a whole was still very different than it is now.
Yeah.
Like there was like maybe like 1 or 2 indie guys. It was like Sami Zayn and like Kevin Owens, and like the indie guys were very sporadic. They would only sign like a certain guy at a certain time.
Right.
And I remember, so like at my tryout, it was me, Tommaso Ciampa, Oney Lorcan, Ember Moon, TM61, trying to think who else was there, Chuck Taylor, Drew Gulak. So it was like a pretty like indie heavy.
Yeah.
Like Matt Riddle was there, but that was before he was even an indie guy.
Oh wow.
It was like he was just like a random guy. They're like from USC, and they like brought him in. So like they brought us in to do this tryout, and we all worked extraordinarily hard. But they kind of just said like, hey, we can only sign one of you guys. And I was directly looked at this tryout. I was looked at and told, if you were 6'7", this would be a no-brainer, but you're not.
Whoa.
Yep.
Wait, but Rey Mysterio was already here
Yeah,
during
yeah.
that time.
But
so
like,
size,
it's still kind of in.
it still matters.
The stigma was still alive in 2015, where they felt like maybe I was too small, maybe I didn't have what it takes to be here. Like I said, like I was directly told like there isn't a spot for me in NXT. I'm not good enough to be in NXT. That was told to me. I was told like there might be spots here and there for you. Like maybe we can bring you in every now and then.
Yeah.
But like there isn't a set spot for you. We don't have a spot for you. Like I still have my no rejection email. It says like no, we can't sign you, no spot. Like I said, I was directly told that if I was 6'7", it'd be a different story, and I'm not.
Yeah.
So
What do you think changed for them to then 2016? Right.
So
you get signed.
I definitely believe, in my heart of hearts, the Cruiserweight Classic played a big role in changing this place. I also believe, in my heart, that me and Tommaso also played a big role in changing this place, because we were 2 guys who weren't under contract. We were told we were going to get these special deals that, you know, will still let us do indies, but we would also do NXT every now and then, because that's all we wanted. We wanted a contract with this company. We wanted a chance to work for this company because we believed in it. We saw the takeovers. We were like, that's pretty good. Like, we want to work there. And obviously, it's your childhood dream. You want to work for WWE.
Yeah.
So me and Tommaso definitely, and it's funny how that worked out too, because at that tryout, me and Tommaso were friends. We knew each other before.
Yeah.
We worked each other a few times on the indies in like England and Germany and things like that. So we knew each other. But at this tryout, we were paired together. We shared a rental car. We shared a hotel room, like just by happenstance.
Yeah.
We had a match like at the tryout, one-on-one, purely happenstance. Who knows why? But it just the numbers worked out that way.
Yeah.
So we were kind of in this thing together. We were both told no together. We were both told no, this ain't gonna happen. And then like a few weeks later, William Regal called us, and he said like, "Hey, we think we have a spot for a tag team in this Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, like just an off spot." And we're like, "Oh, great!" So like he tried really hard just to get us like seen, obviously, because that's like there's so many like variables in this. But so like that was the ongoing theme of me and Tommaso as well, is we only call each other when there's big news. So like Regal called me, then I called Tommaso, then Regal called Tommaso to book him as well.
Yeah.
So we again, like we both flew in together. We shared a hotel room together. We shared a car together. We got nervous together, because that was like, I don't get that nervous about wrestling anymore, but during that time period, like coming in as indie guys in this environment, it was just a bad climate. It was just like people look down on you as an indie guys here.
Oh.
They look like, because a lot of the people here were kind of here for a long time, and they see these indie guys coming in and getting spots. We're not at the Performance Center at the time. We're just 2 guys coming in and doing this thing. So they're looking at us as like, oh, who are these 2 enhancement guys that are just coming in? Like, it doesn't matter what we did in the indies. It doesn't matter who we are, what names we have. In their head, we're enhancement guys.
Right.
And it's up to us to change their mind.
Yeah. Was that a struggle?
Very much so. Very much so a struggle. I remember, like, and it's a funny story about our debut match. Our debut match was against Tyler Breeze and Bull Dempsey.
Okay.
And we won that match with a fluke roll up. Like, we just like came in, like, Tommaso was not Tommaso. I wasn't me. Like, this was our NXT debut, but we weren't ourselves at all. We were very much so like, we were told by the producer, like, oh yeah, you just got to come in, get a fluke roll up, 1, 2, 3, and act like you won the Super Bowl. Like, act like you won the biggest victory of your life. And like, for guys, like, we already had a fan base at that time. Kind of knew, like, these are one of the top indie guys, and they're coming in and they're just acting like they got a fluke win over, like, these
Right,
guys. It's like,
right.
what the heck is going on?
Right.
And for us, but we were told that. We're like, okay, cool. We found out later that, like, for some reason, they just, like, the producer thought we were just enhancement guys that were getting, like, a fluke victory, and the real story was Tyler Breeze and Bull Dempsey's angle. But the real story they wanted to get across was me and Tommaso coming in and being pretty, like, doing our stuff, going crazy. That's what Hunter wanted us to come in, do our stuff, make our debut, have it be a big deal, have it be awesome. Because they're bringing us in as the hottest free agents in wrestling, and we come in, we're just like, oh, fluke victory, yay! But they really wanted us to do our stuff. But that was a miscommunication from Hunter and others to the producer. So, like, we were brought in as these two happy-go-lucky fluke win guys when they really wanted us to be brought in as these two, like, top-notch free agents who can go, who can bring, So, like, that was just a definitely miscommunication. And at this, now being here long enough, I would know just to go right to Hunter and, like, say, like, hey, what do you want out of this match? Because it's very easy. He's very easy to communicate with.
At
that time, I'm like, Triple H, I don't want to talk to you at all. Like, oh my God, I'm going to avoid you. I don't know what's going on. But at that time, like, that's what we've been told.
Especially when you're, like, growing up idolizing him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the craziest thing. Like, I have moments all the time. Me and Tommaso had a moment at the Performance Center early in our career where, like, Shawn Michaels was walking towards us down a hallway, and we, like, dipped away because we're like, oh, we don't want to talk to him. Because we got scared. Now we can talk to him. Like, now I see him all the time. I'm like, hey, what's up? I text him emojis now. It's just weird. That's the weirdest thing about the life now is, like, compare then or compare, like, even, like, 3 years ago to now. It's just a different world I'm living in now. But, so our whole life has been about being told no. Me and Tommaso in general have been about being told no, overcoming that enhancement talent sort of ceiling that was put on us. But I think, like, we got that shot at TakeOver against Revival, and we blew it out of the park. Yeah. And I think that was what really made them say, like, oh, indie guys maybe could actually go. Like, so I think that really opened the door for what NXT's become. Yes. It's become that sort of all-star roster sort of mindset of go out there and just tear it up. Yeah. And NXT's really grown from there. So, like, it feels like me and Tommaso are really, like, I know we weren't around NXT since day one, but for this new incarnation of NXT, me and Tommaso are the, I don't know, godfathers of what this thing has become, I feel.
And how do you feel now that it's on USA
Network?
Crazy. It's going to be amazing.
It's everything I could hope for. Like, my goal, Tommaso's goal since day one, like, obviously we always say, like, your dream when you're a little kid is to wrestle at WrestleMania, to be on Raw and SmackDown, but dreams change, goals change. I want to be a part. I so much so believe in this company. Like, that's the thing. It feels like it's my baby, too. It feels like
NXT brand.
Yes, the NXT as a whole. It feels like it's my baby. It feels like I've been around here for so long and I've given so much to it. Yeah. Like, a good, like, last 4 years of my career, I've given to NXT. I've helped build NXT. I put my all in NXT because I love this place. Yeah. And I just, from the top to the bottom, I believe in the team we have. Yeah. That's what it's all about to me, is the team we got. We got such a good roster. We got such a good locker room. We got such a good writing staff. We have such a good office. And that's not just me being a corporate guy and giving you a corporate answer. That's just genuinely how I feel.
Yeah, I feel that.
It's just like, it feels special to me, and I want to be on this team, and I want to be with it to help it succeed. Like I said, I don't care what I'm doing. I just want to do what I can to help this team be successful.
So what if you were called over? I never say called up because to me a long time ago, it's like, oh, there is no up for me. It's just over. It's a third brand. Yes. What would it be if you were called over to Raw or SmackDown?
See, I don't know. Like, it's a different world over there. Like, I know who I am in NXT, and I know what I bring to the table, and in my heart, this is where I want to be. Yeah. And, like, that could change, obviously, in a year or two. You never know how things evolve and things grow and things change. But sitting here right now at 32 years old, if you told me that I would spend the rest of my career in NXT, I'd be totally happy. I'd be totally fine. Like,
isn't that interesting? You just said it, dreams. What about WrestleMania, though? Do you want a WrestleMania moment?
I don't know. Like I said, dreams change, goals change. Now my biggest dream is to just help this company get to where I believe it should be. I believe it should be the top of the industry. I believe that when you mentioned, you said it yourself, when you mentioned Raw, you mentioned SmackDown, NXT should be in that conversation. It's right up there with it. I don't think there is a difference between the main roster and us. I want to get rid of that stigma of developmental. I hate the question, when are you going to the main roster? I hate it. I hate whenever fans come to me like, when are you going to get to the big leagues? I am in the big leagues, okay? NXT is the big leagues. And we're ready to show the world on USA Network that it doesn't get better than NXT.
Yeah, wow. Well, I was just going to say the big step right now is USA Network. That right there is solidified.
It's nuts.
Third brand.
Yep, 100%. There is no difference.
As soon as I heard that. And it's funny because you guys have changed even my mentality because of the hard work. Because, you know, I've been at Raw and SmackDown for years, especially Raw.
Yeah.
You know, announcer there for 15 years, right? So I always was referring to it as being, oh, he got called up.
Yep.
She got called up.
Yep.
I always said that. And then the more I started doing these interviews, and I remember I interviewed Aleister Black. I interviewed the very first NXT ones that I interviewed were Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. And at the time, they were NXT when I interviewed them. And literally, the interview hadn't even aired when the next day found out they were going to be on SmackDown. They were crying.
Yeah,
they were,
I'm sure.
It was their dream, right? Because them, too, it was like, oh, main roster, oh, my God, you know. But now, the more I interview people, when I interviewed Adam Cole and I said, what about you being called? And he goes, oh, it's not that I don't want to go, but there's something so special here.
That's the thing. It's special too. It's special too because a lot of the guys we have in our locker room right now, I've known them for over 10 years. We've all worked really hard to get here.
Yeah.
So we've all grown together in this business, and now to be here together, we feel like we definitely have a chance to make something special together. Like I said, we have such a camaraderie and such a joy of working with one another. Yeah. Like the locker room is very tight knit. Like it is like a family atmosphere here in NXT. If one of us succeeds, we all succeed. I don't want that to change. Like I feel like that's what makes NXT special.
Do you know what I foresee? I foresee WrestleMania is part Raw, SmackDown, and NXT.
I think it should be, right? It definitely should be.
That's what I see.
It definitely should be. I agree.
Next year's 2020 WrestleMania, I think it's going to absolutely be a mix of all three.
Yep, I agree.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
It'd be awesome. Yep.
I think it makes sense.
Like I did the Royal Rumble this past year, and that alone was a dream come true. But obviously, WrestleMania is always, if you're a little kid, you want to main event WrestleMania, you want to be at WrestleMania. So I do believe that if NXT is a viable third brand, as it should be, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, WrestleMania, I think that's...
It makes sense. Yep. And I also say, look, for the longest time, the thought of a woman, you know, or women headlining WrestleMania was like, what, really?
Yep.
It happened, right? I could see that an NXT match would headline WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think this business is changing. It's evolving. I think that is the best thing about professional wrestling is its ability to change and evolve. I think if you get stuck in that old mindset of like it needs to be this way, and I hate that. That's one of my least favorite things too. Is it needs to be this way?
You're like, what?
Nothing needs to be this way. Nothing needs to be this way. Wrestling is so subjective.
Yeah.
Everything is so subjective.
Life.
Yeah, absolutely. Like
life evolves.
And as a whole, if you want to put in a button on all that, like even if you're a wrestling fan, you're a wrestler. Like there is no right or wrong way to do something.
Right.
It's just like you do it your way, I'll do it my way. Like different ways work out, and different things are liked and different things are disliked. I don't think there's anything that's subjectively bad. I don't think there's anything that's maybe subjectively good. You like what you like. I like what I like, and that's fine. I think that as a whole in 2019, that should be like the whole thought process of like, hey, because I see so much hate online of like, that's bad. Like, why do you like that stuff? That sucks because you need to do it this way, or he's not big enough, so I like that old big wrestlers. Like, he shouldn't be a wrestler. Like, guys,
who cares?
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Right, relax.
Just like what you like. Let other people like what they like, and live your life.
You know, it's funny because that reminded me when I went into a school one time, and it was the anti-bullying campaign. And I made, you know, because for so many years being a different culture, because I grew up in Madrid, Spain, so coming to the U.S. was a big thing, and I got picked on for being Spanish, for speaking Spanish, for wearing dresses to school, all that kind of stuff, right? So when I talked to him, it came to me right on there. I said, hey, how about you guys, who likes pizza? And everyone's like, yeah, I like pizza. I was like, well, what if you were eating pizza for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snacks, and everything in between? They're like, no, like, but you can't have a hamburger, you can't have M&Ms, you can't have anything else, right? Because it's different.
Yep.
And they're like, wait, what? And I said, that's exactly what you're doing when you want one thing to be exactly the way it is every single day, every single moment, right? You just said it. Have different sizes, different cultures, different things, and it makes it way more interesting.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, way more interesting.
That's the thing that I get caught up the most on is when people are like, wrestling needs to be this way, or a guy needs to look a certain way. Like, it's not believable. It's not believable. I get that. I see that all the time. Like, he's so small. It's not believable.
David
like,
and Goliath.
Like,
hello.
David and Goliath. You also look at like UFC or anything like that. Like Floyd Mayweather Jr. is super tiny.
He's so tiny.
Conor McGregor, super tiny. Like, obviously, size does not matter. You don't think that Floyd Mayweather Jr. can take out the biggest guy in the world? He probably can. I mean, you watch WrestleMania, he beat Big Show.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. I'm seeing that even in the PFL. I'm in the Professional Fighters League now, right? And I'm seeing now it's not about the big guy. The one guy, man, he just literally took out. It was the technique. For sure. All right, I want to switch gears and speak about Candace.
Hey, let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh my God.
Let's do it.
So you met her. You say that I want you to tell the story because what I heard is something about you wanted to talk to her. You saw her backstage.
Yes.
She was with a cousin, a friend, and then you wanted to do something with the cell phone, but it didn't go right. Tell me the story.
So I believe, if I remember this story correctly, so there's also it's the timeline's a little fishy as where like that's our distinct memory of the first time discussing, I guess, talking to one another. Is like, she was backstage at a PBG show. She wasn't wrestling on the show, but her and her cousin were backstage. And I have a Samsung phone, and Candace has an Apple iPhone. Her cousin also has a Samsung phone. So me and her were kind of like, I kind of started the conversation with her cousin about her phone. So I kind of worked around to like me and her cousin ganging up on Candace for like having an iPhone and us having like a Samsung phone. Like, so I kind of use that as my very slick way.
Whatever works.
Slick way of getting into talking to Candace. But I also remember doing shows with her where like there's a picture where I like am behind her in line because we all came out for this like whatever the heck, like some like whatever. I can't even remember what it was. It wasn't like a memorial, but it was like, this is the beginning of the show, and we're going to have like a big intro. And there's like me behind her in line, and I put myself behind her in line just to try to talk to her. But then our real conversation started, because I kind of, in that talk, started talking to her about the show called Catfish on MTV, which she like never heard of for some strange reason, and I was a big fan of. So I just remember like I was driving home from like a wrestling show in Chicago, from Chicago to Cleveland. I was in the back seat, and I found her Facebook. So my other in to start communicating with her was I Facebook Messenger like a YouTube video of the show Catfish. And I was like, hey, here's a show Catfish, you should watch it. And I was just like sitting in the back like, come on, just reply. Like like come on, just reply to this message. Just reply. Because I was like, okay, here we go, let's see. And then she replied, and we started talking more on Facebook Messenger. Then she actually initiated it first, and she was like, hey, here's my number if you want to just text me. And then I, of course, text her, and then
That's where it evolved.
Yes.
What was it about her?
I don't know. I was very, just like, I see her and just something about her, the way she lives her life, the way she smiles. Like, I was always also a big fan of her work. I think she's one of the best in the world, and that's also not just me being biased because she's my wife. I've wrestled her numerous times. She's as good as advertised. She's one of the best, whether male, female, doesn't matter. She's one of the best. And just like her smile, the way she carried herself, there's just something about her. Her sense of humor, I guess, too. Like, it was just like, when we started talking, it just something just clicked instantly. So much so that like just our conversations were good. Because like I said, she lived in California. I was in Cleveland. So she would have her job at Universal, and she would drive to work every day, and that was like an hour-long commute. And I used to have to wake up, because time change-wise, she would go to work at like 10 p.m., but that would be like 2 a.m. my time or something like that. Like math-wise, 1 to 2 a.m. my time. So I would like stay up and wait, and I'd call her at like 1 a.m., 2 in the morning, so she'd have someone to talk to on her hour-long drive to work. So every night, like I would just be talking to her on the phone, 1 a.m. my time, trying to stay up to talk to her, falling asleep on the phone while I'm trying to talk to her while she drives to work. So like our relationship just grew from just like not even anything physical, just like talking through this long distance sort of
That's beautiful,
mindset.
though.
Yeah.
Wow, and now you made her your wife.
My wife now, yeah.
That's
3 years.
amazing.
Coming up on 3-year anniversary this Monday.
Actually, this
Yeah.
is going to air
on our
Monday.
anniversary. Wow.
So happy
Yeah,
anniversary.
Thank you. We made it 3 years. Doing good.
3 years, that's amazing. And
Yeah.
I love the fact that it's funny because I interviewed her before you,
Yes.
but it's going to air after.
Yep.
But I found out that you guys got married in Disneyland.
We
And
did.
my husband and I got married in Disney World.
Yep. Yep.
And here you are now, you're living in Disney
Disney
World.
World, yep.
And we're living in Disneyland.
Are you? That's crazy how that works. That's nuts
so
how that works.
swapped coasts.
We will be at Disney World on our anniversary.
Oh, on Monday.
We're
Okay, great.
doing Animal Kingdom Lodge and all that good stuff. So yeah, so like
That's awesome.
We're very much so Disney people. Like when it came to, and I wasn't a Disney person before
That's
I
what
met
she
Candace.
said.
I
She
was
said
not.
she introduced
I'd
you to
never
it.
been to like a theme park. I went to like
That's crazy.
SeaWorld and like Jogga Lake, which is like a Cleveland thing.
Yeah.
But I never went to any Disney things. And I went to Disneyland for the first time. That was my first Disney experience.
Yeah.
And it was just something she loved. It was a big part of her life. And when it came to planning the wedding, she always said she's like my dream wedding is at Disneyland, but it might be a lot of money. I was like, it's your dream. Like hopefully only get one wedding.
Beautiful.
Like you got to do it. So like that's
Yeah.
why we decided like okay, we'll do Disneyland wedding. And
I love
all
that she said you were like, I'm going to walk down the aisle.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, wait, the groom doesn't walk down the aisle.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was mind blowing to me. I was like, wait, so we're so much on equality. We're like, okay, like this is our wedding. This is our special day. But like you get all the big play and the rub. Like, no, like I want my own thing too. And like it was so I don't know why. Like weddings are kind of awkward because like you get married and then like or you walk down the aisle. Like obviously as a groom, like you're not supposed to do that apparently. But
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna walk down this aisle.
But then
so I had my own
nobody
special-
stood up
No
for
one
you.
does anything. It's quiet. Like there's a song playing. Like I said, it's the Shawn Michaels on a piano song. And I do my entrance. I'm kind of dancing down the aisle, and everyone's just sitting there like this. I'm like,
Because they're in shock.
Yeah,
They're
like,
not
what the-
expecting it.
they're like, come on, like I'm
You
so
said
conditioned
it.
wrestling.
It's conditioned. You know how we were just talking about everyone's expecting
Yeah.
it to be one way, look
Yeah.
one way, whatever.
Yep.
It shows right there that you're a rebel. You're
Yeah,
like,
screw it.
No, it doesn't have to look
No,
this way.
it doesn't have to be this way.
Who
said
the
that
groom
guy
can't
can't
go down? I love that.
Yeah,
My
so
God.
like I did my thing, and no one did anything, and I was like, oh, this sucks.
All right, so now she was talking about the fact that you guys are going to renew your vows
Yes.
later on, and you're going to have signs and all sorts
Yes,
of things.
we're gonna go like so wild because
love
like I
it.
said, like we had a lot of wild ideas for our initial wedding. That's kind of a real one. You kind of got to be a little more
Yeah.
tame on that one. But so I have for our vow renewals, I have a huge idea, a
Oh.
big idea, and this idea was in the works for a long time. It involves Triple H, so we have to talk to him about potentially appearing at our vow renewal. But this idea was for the actual wedding. We're like, we kind of got to make this a real thing. So our vow renewal, though, big show. Like who
Love
cares?
it.
Like it's already done, so who cares? Get it all out of the
Love
way.
it. What year?
So we'll probably do it on our 5.
Okay.
So this is 3 this year, so probably 2 more years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What a beautiful journey that you get to travel with her
Yeah.
and have this experience of this NXT brand.
Yeah.
That she's not on Raw while you're here, or
Oh,
she's
yeah.
not at home or in the Indies while
Yep.
you're,
Yep.
like magical.
It does. It worked out so well for us both to be here at this time, to both work for a company that we care about, we genuinely love. Like it worked out so well, and just like I said, like every day is kind of a dream come true, and just being able to live this life now to where I'm with my wife and I'm with my best friends, and we're making this sort of NXT thing on national television. We're kind of creating something from the ground up. It's amazing.
Oh, when I heard the
Yeah.
news, I was like,
Yeah. So like I've known here and there. I've heard rumblings. I guess we've all heard rumblings for a while that it could potentially be coming. But like when it got announced, we're like,
yeah.
oh yeah, there it
Oh,
is.
yeah.
Okay, sweet.
well, like I said, this is airing. It's Monday
Yep.
right now, which means 2 days from now it's happening.
Yes.
It is going live on the USA Network. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
As my final question to you, when you were a kid, and I think I know the answer already, but has your chase for glory looked the way you thought it was going to look?
Oh no, not at all. Like it hasn't. I wouldn't change anything about it. I do believe in my heart of hearts that everything happens for a reason in this life, like we talked about earlier. Like one little thing, one little change could have sent this trajectory off in a whole different direction.
Yeah.
So every misstep, every no I've been told, every time I've doubted myself, because I had a lot, like I said, we talked about earlier, like I hate my own matches. I have a lot of self-doubt. I still have self-doubt today. I'm 32 years old, but I still doubt myself every day. But every self-doubt, every misstep, every no, it all led me here, and I feel like I'm in a good spot right now.
That's awesome.
And who knows what's going to happen in 20 more years, but for right now, I feel pretty good.
Can you give a little bit of something for someone to hang on to when you say you self-doubt? Even now, it's so good that you're so good. There's so many people that self-doubt. I myself, like I think everybody at one moment or another, but what do you do to get through that?
I always just remember my advice, I guess, that I remember to myself, just stay the course. Like, I believed I would end up here. I believed this was my goal, this was my dream, I was going to make it come true. I didn't want to stray from that in any way, and just stay the course. That's I think with any walk of life, if you want something, I'm living proof, just go get it. It's very attainable if you work very, very hard. If you work hard and you're a nice person, that first and foremost, be a nice person, be a good person at your heart. I do believe if you just stay your course, you'll get what you want.
I love it. Oh my God, Johnny, thank you.
No, thank you.
And congratulations and good luck with everything.
Thank you so much.
Excited.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you.
Chasing Glory with Lillian Garcia.
And there you have it. Are you not more in love with Johnny right now after hearing all of that like I am? Incredible guy. What a story of an underdog. There are so many things that he has shared. Any of you that are out there that get constant no's in your lives, look, if it's something that you absolutely want to do not take no for an answer. But you know, he also shared how the fact that getting the no's was so beneficial for him. So if you are getting a no, don't get down on that. It just means it's not the time yet, but the time will come. And so do what you can in the interim. I think there's amazing lessons here. So just cheer up, because your journey is that continued chase for glory. And it looks so different sometimes. Just like he said, his chase for glory looks nothing like he thought it was going to look, but he wouldn't change a thing. So make sure you share this. Anybody out there that's going through some troubles, make sure you share it with them. Make sure that you keep that 5-star rating. Really appreciate that. And tag your friends on here. Share all the information below. Go ahead and tag it below. And let them know that this is the place that they can get the helpful advice. Chasing Glory is all about that. Make sure you follow the show at Lillian Garcia on Instagram and Twitter. Also at Chasing Glory Podcast on Instagram. And also youtube.com/Lillian Garcia. All the places that you can get the show. Remember that for the next few weeks, I'm going to be interviewing an NXT superstar after another NXT superstar, because they deserve this platform. They have worked so hard, and NXT now is every Wednesday night. So from the Performance Center, thank you so much for tuning in, as Chasing Glory is now on the road for the next, I don't know, month or so. So tune in the next time. It's a bonus episode this Thursday, and we will let you know who is going to be on it. Until then, much peace, love, and passion. And remember to always be yourself and trust that it's enough. See you guys.
Thanks for joining us here on Chasing Glory from executive producer Lillian Garcia. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends, and be sure to subscribe at Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your favorite shows.